So let's come back to our ecosystem technology slice, and let's really start to go around the wheel here and understand some of these areas in a little more detail. Be remiss if I didn't start with VMS and really take a deep dive on a tool that is positioned in almost every contingent labor program. We've seen saturation of our VMS market over the last 10 years at the majority, over 50% of buyer organizations that have adopted this type of a technology. So really important that we take a good look at it and talk about all the things that it should be doing for our organizations. The first thing we want to understand, very similar to a few slides ago, we start to look at the different provider types, different ways that we want to engage our solutions partners, and we start to orient these different engagement types and modules across the vendor management system. Starting off primarily with a staff augmentation module that is designed very much for managing individual workers. This is tracking those workers, the hours that they're working for your organization, and ultimately creating a bill rate or creating an invoice off of those hours in that bill rate for that worker. So we think about all the components of that. We're going to take a deeper look at that, but a much different set of functionality than maybe a statement of work module. It may sit next to this in the same mess, but maybe designed more for managing the outline of a piece of work, the deliverables, the expectation of a supplier as opposed to an individual resource. Again, documented very differently inside of our vendor management system and takes even a unique workflow and how they might be managed across your business. The last section we're going to talk about is resource tracking. And this is an idea that regardless of the type of engagement, every engagement may bring workers that may require some access to your systems, whether that's building, whether it's network, may just require that you need some visibility to those workers. So we're going to put those workers into our VMS system, any non-employee worker, so that we have that total visibility and we can ultimately connect to all of those workers at any time. Great thing about putting all these things into one place is this bottom line here, this visibility, the reporting and analytics opportunity that we create. By having everything under one umbrella, we can ultimately report on some common data points across all of these types of engagements.
And as we've seen, Chris, in the industry, we're very mature when we manage staff augmentation. SOW is still an area of growth. There are a few buyer organizations that do this very well, but there's not many. And so from a VMS perspective, they're making huge investments to try to create the experience and I think care for and cover off on the needs that the buyers have to see if they can provide more value to the current situation, right? Because if there's not a VMS in place now and all of a sudden you put a VMS and SOW, are you providing value to whatever it is you're trying to solve, whatever problem you're trying to solve?